Other items. In the 1st century, the alleged Messiah proclaimed these words in Revelation 18 through 23. For thy merchants were the great men of earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And that is in reference to the Jewish Silk Road merchants who lined the road from one end to another, as mentioned in From Russia with Love. But the word sorceries in Greek is pharmakeia, which describes medication, magic, sorcery and witchcraft from a druggist, pharmacist. Now, nations in the past did not mean countries, it meant races. Now, pharmakeia is an abstract noun meaning sorcery, magic and the practice of magic arts. And the concrete noun is pharmakon, whose primary meaning is poison. Its secondary meaning is magic potion or charm to achieve a desirable objective, and its tertiary meaning is medicine, remedy or drug for healing. Now, the above terms were used from the time of Homer, 8th century BC, down to the New Testament times, and known both to Greeks and Jews. Now, in modern times, the tertiary meaning prevails, as for example the term pharmacy as a place to obtain healing medicines. But in reality land, it's really to obtain magic potions of poisons. All drugs are a form of poison. The joys of technology next, and this will split opinions of whether valid or not. And the report said death could be as easy, quick and painless as simply pressing a button, or you could take a jab. At least that's what the creator of the world's first 3D printed suicide machine intends for the future. And yet again, they say the future when 3D and suicide machines of one form or another are the past. Long in the past. Now, Dr. Philip Nitschke, nicknamed Dr. Death, showed his plans for a suicide assisting machine called Sarco, which is short for sarcophagus. And he showed it off at Amsterdam's funeral fair. Funeral fair. Does anyone ask why we need a funeral fair? Bizarre. But for those of you who have watched the Stargate, the series, the sarcophagus will have a different meaning altogether. Now, there was one inside the Giza pyramid, and those pyramids were not burial chambers, as not a single corpse was brought out of there. It is an energy machine and also a potential landing pad. Now, the inventor of the suicide machine says you can try it out for yourself. You go first. At least in virtual reality, by stepping inside a full-size depiction of the euthanasia capsule. And you put on VR glasses and it gives the user a glimpse into how the death machine operates. Now, plans for the 3D printing the capsule will be freely available on the internet, according to Nishka, who says the device can be assembled anywhere to allow a person a peaceful passing at a location of their choosing. And potential users for the real deal will have to fill out an online test to gauge their mental fitness. and if that is passed, they will then receive an access code that is valid for 24 hours. I'm surprised they didn't say 2 weeks. Well, now, once the code is entered, another confirmation from the user must be given, and the Sarco will sit on a generator that uses liquid nitrogen that, when released, will bring down the level of oxygen in the capsule to induce hypoxia. Now, the brain relies on oxygen to function, and when put in environments with low levels of oxygen, the body slowly begins to shut down, resulting in confusion, increased heart rate, rapid breathing, shortness of breath, sweating and wheezing. That sounds like a COVID victim, does it not? Now, in the Sarco, however, Nishka says death will have style and elegance, and within 1 minute the user loses consciousness and death shortly follows. And to activate the process, a person simply steps inside, lies down, and when ready, presses a button. A Sarco death is painless, he said. There is no suffocation, choking sensation, or air hunger, as the user breathes easily in a low oxygen environment. And the sensation is one of well-being and intoxication, according to the company's founder. Now, Sarco made headlines after the state of Victoria in Australia voted to legalise euthanasia, and media outlets deemed Nishka's the Elon Musk of assisted suicide, and his death machine his Tesla. Now, arguments against euthanasia address practical, ethical and religious concerns, saying legalising a person's right to die could normalise suicide, be difficult to regulate, and that it accepts some lives are worth less than others. But Nishka, who performed his first legal assisted death in 1996, argues the right to end one's life is a civil right, and the Sarco is intended to get people talking positively about death and with broader considerations than being afraid, scared or shocked. And he said, after all, he said, well, you're all going to die. We're all going to die. And increasing numbers of us want some say in how we are going to die. Now, this is a difficult subject to approach that has spiritual, ethical, and potential karmic issues to address. But there are many people around the world who are never going to get better again and end up rotting in hospitals, care homes and hospices. Should they be given the choice of when to die? That's not my choice to make. Should people be given the choice to use this machine? That depends on whether the people decide, not governments. And it brings up several issues, many of which are not easily rectifiable, because money is one aspect of it. And we all know people who are waiting for a parent or other family members to die, waiting for their payout. And that could lead to abuse of this system. We all know the hospitals, care homes and pension systems are waiting for people to die for other monetary reasons as well. So there's no easy decision or planning behind whether this should be freely available, and more knowledge would have to be delivered to the public before making this overarching decision. And I would suggest this is similar to abortion, the right for the individual to freely choose what they wish to do with their own body, which is a sovereign choice, like those who took the experimental jab, which technically means it's nobody else's business. But wider discussions that involve the public is required on this, because the folly of following their rules and regulations has not been to we the people's benefit, as we have found out with greater clarity in the past 18 months.